bosses after this though, so if you die here, you go. Case in point. Everything I say is based on my own opinions and experience. I'm not speaking for the public, and my feedback should be treated as such. You are watching Nico Evaluates. With 25 years of experience on Mega Man games, 7 years of doing the No Miss Buster Only challenge, and countless Snupster Races, as well as being the QA tester for Mega Man Unlimited, I'm here to tell you my honest opinion on different Mega Man games, so sit tight and learn. Hello people and welcome to Nico Evaluates Mega Man Unlimited. Now you might say, you're biased, you can't do this. Well, the thing is, I only tested a Z prototype. I never tested the core game, I never tested enemy placements, I never tested any of the stages. My job was to find out if Z prototype broke the game. Of course I played the stage through with Mega Man as well, and I have about 500 hours on this game, if not even more, as a result of the beta testing. So there is really no bias. I can look at this game with a clear mind. I'm not here to test anymore, I've done my part. And that was only for Z prototype, so now we get to actually evaluate the whole game. Or at least most of it, the core game. So this is gonna be rather interesting. I'm a good friend of Megafilex's. We are both in Snupster. This is gonna be quite interesting if our friendship still stays after this series here. Love you, Phil. Alright. The game is not made in Game Maker. Rather, it's coded in C++. Holy shit, what a refreshing fact, right? After all of these Game Maker games, we can finally say goodbye for at least a brief moment. Finally something that's not done in Game Maker. If we go to the options, you can indeed use your controller to map these inputs. You don't need a joy to key. Unless you have a new controller, such as the Xbox One controller. That does not work straight out of the box, at least it didn't for me. So I had to go and fiddle with the configuration files and find out which number correlates to which input on the gamepad. Phil posted that on his Facebook, Mega Man Unlimited, so if you're having problems with the Xbox One controller, go download that config file, it'll fix your issues. Of course, that's something that should be considered when making your game, that all the future controllers would work as well, but that's not such an easy task to accomplish. So at least it has the ability to map inputs. That's already over halfway. You can of course map keyboard inputs if you're that kind of guy. Display size, very nice sizes. 4x pretty much fills the whole vertical screen on a 2K resolution display. That's very cool. Filtering? Oh, nobody's gonna use that, right? I hope not. Yep, down and jump is slide. Yes, please. I'm gonna use the original music. I think it's better. I'm at the 1% who thinks the original music is better than the alternate. Scenes, if you're a speedrunner, I guess you can make the scenes short. Might as well, we're not gonna look at the stories. We haven't looked at them in any game so far. I don't care about the story. Omega weapons, that's something that we'll probably cover later. For now, save and exit. Special, you've got Endless Attack, Endless Boss Attack, Endurance Attack. You got Whirlpool Man, who was added later into the game. And you got some challenges. Challenges? Oh yeah, the perfect challenges, of course. So there's a lot to swallow here and a lot of content. Maybe in the options I would love to see some of the options that I think Super Fighting Robot added in. A lot of different conditions and such. Those were cool, like if the game pauses or not upon picking up energy and such. But it is a good menu for what it is. It doesn't need anything more. Nice looking menu, easy on the eyes, good colors. Now of course we're gonna play as Mega Man. This is my baby here, Z prototype. Mwah. But we're gonna play as Mega Man. We're probably not gonna check that much of the additional content we never have on these evaluations. Got easy mode. And we got Insta-Date. which I did complete the game on Insta-Death mode on my channel with the no-miss rule. So if you want to see me do a no-miss perfect on these bosses, go check my Case Mega Man, where I did these bosses with the Insta-Death mode. That was something, I tell you that much. Then you can have the Buster to charge or not. Pretty cool. And I still have my braces on, so if I'm lisping, I'm fucking sorry. In my opinion, one of the better looking level select backgrounds. Very easy on the eyes. Looks nice. I can't really say what my favorite stage is, they're all pretty fun. But this is quite a weird feeling, because I feel like this is the first time I'm playing a game like this, evaluating the game. And I have so many hours on this, I'm not sure which boss to take first, but I guess we're gonna go with Glue first. That's what we did on our very first Snupster race on 2013. Glue Man is a fun boss. Let's go with Glue Man first. And you can skip this as well if you want, but let's check it out. Very good animations. Mickey Mouse hand, kinda weird. I can live with it. The background for some reason reminds me of Dustman's background. Kinda same look in it. Looks kinda similar in design. So, with over 500 hours on this game, I can tell these mechanics beat every single classic Mega Man to date. These are the best mechanics you'll ever find. I would take these mechanics over Mega Man 4's. These are pretty much perfect, there's nothing wrong with them. You can shoot 3 times in the air, you can slide, you can jump off a slide, dust particle there, everything just works, and it's amazing when everything works as they are supposed to. Head bobs up and down instead of left and right. It's just fantastic. Like, these are the best fan game mechanics we have so far. They are literally it's like a dream. This is how every fan game should fucking work. Before you publish your fan game, play Mega Man Unlimited and check for yourself what did Mega Man Unlimited do right. And then take notes, because these are the best controls yet to be discovered on our series, and probably gonna stay that way. Can't say for sure yet, but it looks very good for Mega Man Unlimited's case. There's not much I can tell. The mechanics work just like in the official games. There's pretty much nothing wrong with them. There are a couple of things, if I remember correctly, but we're gonna check them as we play, because we're probably gonna encounter them. But if I had to pick from Mega Man 1 through 6 and 9 and 10 and Unlimited, I'd pick Unlimited's controls over anything else. That's how good they are. We don't have the jump slide problem as in Mega Man 6, we don't have the missing inputs as in Mega Man 3, we don't have the floaty controls like in Revenge of the Fallen, we don't have wrong sprites like in Mega Man Eternal, we don't have flashy fucking health bars and flashy Mega Man like in Street Fighter Cross Mega Man. Everything is fucking perfect what comes to physics and controls. That's all I can say, we can just play the game. So I think the reason why we hit this met is, I think it's sunken a bit into the ground. I think we are as well. Like, if you look at the ground, Mega Man's feet are 1 pixel inside it. So I think that's the reason we hit this met. It's a fun met. First you got the normal met, and then after that you got a triple met, which is strange, because all of them take 2 hits instead of 1. But that's a good introduction to the enemy. Have it after the normal met. Not a bad design, honestly. It's slow enough that you can actually react to it, which is fun. Yeah, it's very easy to dodge once you figure it out. Now, it sometimes gets a bit weird when you kill them. Like, if you kill the middle one first, they kinda stack weirdly, like that. But it's not too bad. Yeah, like, that's gonna happen sometimes. That's the problem of stacking enemies on top of each other. But as you are just shooting them fast, it doesn't really matter. Another introduction. Can't fall down a pit when this enemy comes on screen. It teaches you how it works. So apparently it's always homes on you. So that's what you learn here. So there's pretty much no danger in dropping down if you just kill it from a distance, which is kinda cool. Ladders The first time, I gotta be honest, the very first time 4 years ago when I got here, I didn't know this was a ladder. I was a dumbass, but it looks too much like the ground here. This pillar looks fucking amazing. All of the graphics in this game are very detailed and awesome, but this ladder kinda gets lost as a result. It kinda looks similar. The purple background of it kinda helps, but there's something about the design that looks too much like the pillar here. I would probably made it more simple of a ladder, but it's nothing to break a leg for, I guess. So these guys actually fire shots back as you shoot at them. And I think it's a good design in the sense that it doesn't take 3 hits to kill it, because that way you could just kill it there. So you actually have a chance to see what it does. So it takes 4 hits to kill, and as a result, you have to think about where you shoot him. Otherwise you're gonna get pummeled by the shots as you saw earlier there. So I always like to shoot it in the forehead, where the shots don't actually hit us. So there, that was one of the things that also happened in Mega Maker. This has the same bug. If you look at my controller very closely, you can see that Mega Man did a full jump after I already let go of the controller. I don't know what that's about. That's the same bug than in Mega Maker. So that's something that I haven't figured out what causes that. But that's one of the few bugs this game has. Alright, there we go. But it's a fun enemy design. You don't see things like this often. If you're fast enough, if you can jump fast enough, you can glide on this glue platform. But it's not too bad. Just something I like to do sometimes, look at that. You can just glide through it. Oh god, but that makes your finger tired, but I like to do that on speedruns, if I do them. Very nice. So this is positioned higher up, so you actually have to get on its face a bit, which is fine. And note how enemies do not regain health right as they are scrolled off like this. The enemy is still there, you can hear him shooting. But if you get close, it still dies. So 1 and 2, it still dies, so it doesn't scroll off immediately like in some games. That's good, because that way it doesn't have the Ninja Gaiden effect where if you just keep doing this, it scrolls back all the time. So that's good that there's some leeway there, because that's very infuriating, so it doesn't come back that easily if you just do this. That's good design. If that's an accident or not, we don't know, but it plays in the game's favor. More glue platforms. I'm not sure about the introduction of the glue platform. Some of the Snupsters were very baffled by them the first time they played the stage, because it's not that... Because if you pick this stage as your first stage ever, and you come here, and you're just like, okay, I can't move, what the fuck's going on? So the introduction to this gimmick could have been better. Because if this is the very first time you play this game and you pick this stage, you're like, why can't I move left or right? Then after like 15 minutes you're like, oh right, it's glue, man, there's glue on the ground. So maybe a better introduction could have been done here to better reflect, to better show you how the glue works, so you're not just confused that the game might be broken or something. Alright, so here we have another mini-boss-like enemy. Gotta shoot it when the head appears. His little dome. It's a fun reactionary battle as well. So he always alternates between up and down. You can of course rapid fire him, and the iframes are good. The shield works well. The animation is fine. As soon as he opens up you can shoot him. So that works well. So you can use the environment to kill other enemies like that. Look at that, amazing detail, very fun. And the spines actually shoot this time, they are more menacing now, which is fine. When you come down here, again you gotta think a bit. A fun introduction to that mechanic that the enemies are capable of killing other enemies if you place the bullets correctly. Nice. Like this one as well. Good leverage for you to kill it. Animation 101 again. Very nice. You have to time this so you don't get hit by the enemy. And the ceiling drags you over this part. That's a good introduction there. Don't have the spikes right at the beginning, but have them here. It's a good one. Introduction to the slide mechanic. More glue. And this is where it becomes a bit more hectic. But very well positioned enemies again. Now here is where I like to glide every time like this. As to not lose speed. Like, the enemy placements are grand in this game. They really are. This guy makes you want to think. Do that again and kill it with the other enemy. Now here's where this would happen if you are not careful. The arrows are pointing left this time, so that's your clue. We should probably be more careful. And this is a bit of a rough jump, but can be done. This is where I always damage boost down. Take a hit by one of the bullets and drop down. It's one of my speedrun strategies here. But let's see what would happen if we didn't do that. Ooh. That was my problem. There we go. Jumps like this I'm not a huge fan of, cause it's just a mechanic that should not be a thing in Mega Man games, but this is not one of the worst jumps we've seen, but it's definitely up there. Mini-boss time. You can only shoot it in the eyes, and that's your clue. When he stomps the ground, you should probably jump. This happens if you don't, you get stuck, and the egg will hit you most likely. There's a cute tail, look at the back. Little smoke puffs coming out when he's gonna use his leg to stomp the ground, look at that. Very good telecrash, amazing job. And it's a fun looking mini-boss, look at the attention to detail. You're gonna see new details every time you play through the game and you look at the mini-boss. That's a sign of a good designer. If you always find new things about the enemies you're looking at every time you play, that's attention to detail. And the explosion doesn't hurt you. That's fantastic. Now here is where you would use weapons for the alternative path. So we're probably gonna check that later. I just wanted to play Glue Man stage first. Now this guy is one of the least favorite enemies in the game for me. Very short animation and then it just flashes the whole screen. And this does teach you about it, but if you just go up, like most people are gonna just skip him like right here, like this, then you wouldn't know what it does. And then you're just gonna shoot that one off, and you still don't know what it does. So it's not a good... it doesn't teach you as well as it could. So later on the stage when they come back, you're most likely gonna get hit by them because you still don't know how they work. Such as here, maybe. You're just gonna get stuck here the first time. Most people are gonna get hit by this enemy the first time on this screen, and it's not a good teaching element. That enemy, not my favorite to begin with. Very short animation time to tell when he's gonna attack, and you're just not gonna pay attention to it that much. Of course, the very first times you do get hit by it, that's your lesson. Maybe I should shoot it faster next time. But in general, I don't like enemies that flash the whole screen and hurt you. Second mini-boss, like always. It's a stable. Oh, there's 3 of them, alright. Fair enough, this is one of the hardest mini-bosses in the game. Unless you played the game for 500 hours, I guess. It's not that bad. There we go. So, what I love about this game is that all of the bosses can be beat by no misperfecting them. Every single one. I haven't tried Whirlpool Man yet, but I think it's possible, just not very easy. But all of the core bosses in the game can be done no misperfect. And as I asked Phil about this, and I also told him that every stage can be done no misperfect, he was like, I did not design them to be that way. But you know what's funny about that? A good design allows you to do that. So he didn't even think about making the stages done or doable no misperfect, but it just so happens that the designs were so good that it just worked out. That's fun to see. And fun to hear as a developer as well, I bet. That was a fun spot for items. You can scum it with rush coil if you missed all of this here. So you can use your noggin as well if you miss something. Oh, look at this, the med bullets are slightly faster than Mega Man in this game. Usually they're the same speed. That's cool. Again, watch out for the spike at the top. Might as well take the energy. Love the attention to detail. This game is gorgeous. One of the most beautiful Mega Man fan games you'll see. So, things like this is what people criticize this game for. It's very heavy on death spikes, very heavy, and the stages are long as hell. Megaphil X has said that he wanted this game to be a game that you can't beat in one evening. He wanted the stages to be long, and it's exactly what he has done here. Let's kill ourselves because I want to see this again. So he wanted us to have a bigger and longer experience on a Mega Man game rather than just have a 2-minute long stage every time. He wanted us to have a long experience that you could actually play for weeks and not get bored. People often say that this game is unfair and it's too hard. Well, goddamn, there's an easy mode. Why don't you go play that then? There is nothing unfair about this game. Every challenge that this game has is well justified. You can learn everything in this game. Of course, I put 500 hours in this game. Yeah, it's gonna show, but you don't have to put 500 hours into this game to learn it. Not at all. And it's just one of those games that... Yeah, sometimes when you're doing horrible, you get angry, I get that. I did that as well. I got mad a lot when I played this game, but it's the Nintendo kind of mad. We haven't had that in fan games. On any Mega Man fan game, a good one. Sure, we have had that on bad games, because you get mad because the game is fucking bad. But here it's a case of a good game that makes you go Nintendo mad because you can't beat it. It really is a blast of the past. The game is so hard at times, it makes you want to throw your controller, and I fucking love that. And it's your own fault. The game is not unfair. It's very fair, in fact. And it teaches you all the time. Every time you die, almost every time you die, it's your own fault. So, big guy, kind of rough spot here because the ground is glued. I would have probably only made some of this floor section here glued, because it's kind of hard to dodge big guy when the whole ground is glued like that. But it's not bad. So all the enemy positions in this stage, very good. I love this stage. Got the broken down Wily logo there. Also, one criticism that people sometimes give this game is the boss AI. I do like it though. I guess the criticism comes from the fact that the boss AIs are a bit repetitious, and they always follow the same pattern, but you know what? I like my bosses patternized instead of RNG, because then you have an actual chance to learn it. This is one of the easiest bosses in the game, along with Comet Woman. You can easily no-miss this guy. Not a problem. It's a fun boss for what it is, and it's just kind of weird that he goes on the background layer. As you can see, the stage curves up and up on both sides. So he's using the skate ramp, and we are not using that. So it's kind of weird to look at it, because it seems like he's going on the background layer. But he's still on the foreground, and you can still hit him. So kind of the 2.5D or 3D effect that Phil has done here doesn't kind of make sense. But then again, it's not too bad once you just look at you and the boss. You don't look at the background, then it makes sense. I did miss there, yes. I haven't done this in so long. Glue Man, not one of my favorite Robot Masters. The idea is very fun, the stage is very cool and plays well with the gimmick. But as a boss, it's a bit too repetitious. He should have at least one attack at the top somehow. I know he does that, But I would have made him have one more attack in the middle of the room at the top. Somehow drop glue down, like straight down. That would have been a cool addition to him. It kind of gets repetitious here. But you might as well have some easier bosses in your game as well. When your game in general is a bit difficult. I know this is probably the most difficult fan game we've played yet. But it doesn't show at all, because I have so many hours on it. Maybe I'm not representing it to the full potential, because it's so easy to me. As he says as he gets hit. I like Glue Man stage, it's very fun. Very fluent, and it just works out. Very fun. And look at this one. Cool transition screen. The music in this game is phenomenal. It's mostly done by Kevin. Of course. You can save your game. Got all kinds of saves here. Let's put this on 4. So let's check the shop. It's a very basic shop. Got lives, mini E-tanks, weapon tanks, energy balancers, shock guard, beat call, he will save you from a pit. And we got Eddie Cole, and he will warp in the stage and give you items. Very basic. So let's check Jetman stage. We're gonna come back to these stages a bit to collect all the letters to check Yoku Man stage as well, but I'm just gonna go about these stages how I feel like. This is actually game over, we have 0 lives. There we go. So this stage has the second least favorite enemy of mine, which is these guys. If you don't shoot them fast enough, they will drop down the suitcases which contain pippies. It's sometimes so fucking hard to dodge these, especially when you cannot jump over the guys, because the pippies are gonna get you. So really your only option is to do that, or just kill them in advance. It's very difficult. Not my favorite kind of enemy. It doesn't. The design is fun. Don't get me wrong. It's a fun enemy, but it doesn't teach you well. It's just one of those things. You just have to get used to it. And you can also farm so easily with these enemies. It's unreal. It's not the end of the day, but it's not my favorite. Look at the background, though. Look at the detail in the background. That looks so amazing. The purple, the dark purple with the black. It's amazingly well done. Like all of the detail in this game, it just looks like an official game. There we go. Life. This is how you do these ups and downs correctly. You introduce them before you jump over the pit, like this. There you go. You don't spawn them right as you jump. You spawn them right here. That's how you do it. If you want to have ups and downs in your game, take notes again. This is how you do it. Don't have them jump up as you jump over them, like most games do, like Mega Man 4 does. Don't do that. Do this. That'll work far better. This stage is based on these airstrike jets, pretty much. You're gonna want to learn how they work differently. The red one is a bit different from the blue one. And just the positioning overall in this stage is not that good. It's very hectic. And like this positioning for this suitcase guy here, extremely irritating. But you just have to pretty much learn this stage. You're gonna die a lot on this stage the first time you play it. That's just the way it is. Check the glue shot out. You can make platforms with it, which is cool. Like that. So that's very cool as well. And the shield attackers in this game usually shoot when they turn. Which by usually I mean every time. That's a cool addition. And the sprites are different, so that's the thing. Alter the sprites if they work differently. And he even added the little holes in the shield attackers to let you know that something comes out of them. In this case, bullets. Like in the middle, he has that little pipe in the middle. That's where the bullets come from. So it's a very fun design, and the spikes in the front, just the icing on the cake. The reason why I'm doing this stage here as the second stage, it's not my favorite. It's a bit unfair. It's very strange. This stage is not something you would see in a typical Mega Man game for sure. It's kind of like in Rock Force. The stage really is strange and feels weird when you consider the world of Mega Man. This jump again, very rough, but luckily there's a bit of an elevation to it. Mini-boss. Took me quite a while to understand how he worked, but once you do, you're gonna be so happy that you did. You just jump in the spot where the suitcase exploded. Took me a while though to understand how, but once I did, I found the joy of this mini-boss. Very fun myth design. There's gonna be another. And again, introduction to gimmicks. Can't die while experimenting with this. Very cool. So you got your experimentation here. You now know how they work. And suddenly there's danger. Very nice introduction. You just have to be very fast in this game. Like, this is the one thing I always talk about. Don't have enemies rush you as soon as you come on the screen. It's not... You still have time to react, but it's so close. It's almost like a C-, but I'll let you off the hook. There is just enough time to react. That wall we're gonna break later. So... It just keeps getting more difficult and more difficult. And here as well, I probably would stop the shield attacker right here. This is where I would stop it myself. But then he would actually shoot us off the ladder, so I'm not sure that's a good design either. So maybe just don't ask me about this room and how to improve it. Maybe it's good enough. And if you drop down, well, you just drop down all the way down here. And that would be chaos. Well, you can do this to kill it. So it's a difficult stage for sure. He says with full health. But this is where shit hits the fan. And the problem with your suitcase guys are that you're never gonna know when they're gonna appear when the first time you played. So most people are just gonna do this. They're gonna keep shooting. And it's not something you wanna see on your game. You don't wanna have people constantly shooting on your game. That means you've done something, some weird design choices for sure. But like here, this is extremely rough to avoid all of these. Maybe they are a bit too fast. Maybe that's the problem here. But then again, if they were even a bit easier, this stage would become so much more easy than it is. This is a good place to farm here, as I told you earlier. We can easily farm for 9 lives here. Man, I would have probably made these guys fly or something. Make their hitbox smaller. Make their sprite and hitbox smaller. Make them little flying enemies. Maybe that's what I would have done with these guys. They're just a little bit too hectic for my taste. Maybe somebody likes them. I'm not a fan of these. But there's not a lot of enemies in this game that I am not a fan of, but this is one of them, definitely. I never understood the design. It's not for me. It's a bit convoluted, I guess. I know Philly is rolling his eyes at the moment, but I'm telling you how I feel about them. We just got 1 life, let's just move on. So here's where shit is gonna hit the fan. Keep the rhythm going and watch out for these guys as well. It's well designed, even though it's hectic as hell. You just wanna take your time, you don't wanna rush, even though that part kinda makes you wanna rush. That's one thing I don't agree with. Don't have us take damage from this airstrike as soon as we clear this part. That's extremely scummy. You don't wanna punish the player for making that. And not many people are gonna dodge that anyway. I know, I didn't. Even though I remember that's there, it's hard to dodge. Again, mini-boss made a bit harder this time here. But it's not too bad either. Boss is after this though, so if you die here, you go. Case in point. My finger just got spasms and I kept holding left. I was gonna say, you go back. Yeah, we are definitely way back. And that's interesting, because the stages are pretty long, so you definitely... dying is the last thing you wanna do. You just don't wanna die. And for me that's fine, because I enjoy long games. And long stages are fun. Because in many cases, in some of the official games, right as you would get into having fun in the stage, it's over. So here, they just keep going. But once you learn them, you can get past them quicker. We're gonna try to do Jetman without taking any damage, but we'll see how that goes. He has been altered at some point. He's not the same as he was when the game was released, but the alteration has been positive. He has a bit more soul this time. Very well, I think this is a good mid-boss. I'm not sure why half of the pit is a deathless pit and half of it is a death spike. But it's a fun design regardless. And this guy, just skip him. Unless you want the weapon energy, so he's just guarding that weapon energy there. Again, cool design. And the way you drop down here. And here we go. Jetman, truly one of the more fun robot masters to learn. Definitely. It's easy-ish to do a no-miss on him as well. That's my bad. I haven't done this in so long. It's gonna take some use too. Do that again, there we go. So basically, the side he goes in, he's gonna come back out from. So he's gonna come from the right this time. And he drags you with him as he flies off. You can see the momentum. He does. So as I'm explaining this, of course, I'm taking hits and stuff, but you can see that I still kind of remember the no-miss strategy for this guy. So, well, it telegraphs well. It's fast because he's Jetman, of course, so he's not gonna give you that much time to react. But once you learn it, oh my god, it's a fun battle. That's my problem. You should always be in the middle when he does that. It's much easier to dodge because in the middle the missiles don't hit you if you jump. So Jetman is one of my favorite designs of this game, honestly. I love the momentum, the way he drags you. Very fun. So, as I'm explaining these, I'm not gonna do that well on the no miss challenge, but I've already done those, so if you wanna see them, just go check my channel. But this is how you do a boss. You don't just make them do random shit, you give them a pattern. Look at how much more fluent a boss fight can be when you do it right. Like, holy shit, right? Isn't this amazing? My finger let me down. Well, night time for Jetman. What an amazing boss. I do like it. At times he can be a bit too fast for new players, but as they observe it, it's gonna make them understand how he works. So it's not unfair. None of these bosses really are unfair. There's a lot of learning to be had, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you agreed on what I said, leave a like. If you disagreed, leave a dislike. We're gonna come back next time. Hope you enjoyed. I know I did. What a breath of fresh air this game.